Aloha and welcome to Knitted Paradise, where the needles are clicking and the yarn is squishy. My name is Lucia, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Pearl of the Pacific. Welcome everyone to episode 69 of Knitted Paradise. Today is Sunday, April 5th, and it is Easter, so happy Easter everyone. I hope you are having a fabulous day with your family. I just got back from choir, and in a little bit we're going to go over to a friend's house for Easter. It's not really brunch. I used to eat a brunch with my family, but we're doing like an Easter dinner, early dinner, late lunch, early dinner kind of thing. So that will be fun. And yes, I wore a very springy dress. You can't see the rest of it, but it is very poofy and Easter egg colored. Oops, just popped my necklace into it. And it's got this like green tulle stuff down at the bottom. It's kind of fun. I bought it in the children's section. Not gonna lie, I shop in the children's section sometimes. I wear it with heels though, so I don't feel like I'm 12, which is nice. I look young, but I'm not that young. All right, well, let's get going here. Below the conch shell, let's see, where's my list here? All right, I did re-release my hat, mitts, and cowl patterns, and if you've already purchased them, you've already gotten a message, either via Ravelry and or email, with the updated PDF for those patterns. And if you have not bought them, you should go check them out. Included in the update or the re-release were some new pictures. So thank you to my friend who helped me with that, a couple weekends ago. You can also see those on the pattern pages on Ravelry. That's where they're in all places. I consolidated the pattern a little bit so it's more printer friendly. So all of the necessary things to print are either on one or two pages. There we go, 1 or 2 pages, and depending on the pattern. And then all the other information that you do need to know and you should read through is there, but it's not, you just really need to read through it once, and then you kind of got it. And like the end is acknowledgments, and for any links that I provided, so if you print the pattern, I have provided the full, if you use them electronically, they're all linked, like you're clickable. You can click on them. Like if I say tutorial here, and you just click it, it'll take you to it. But if you printed it and you're like, well, what does here stand for? I have on the last page put, so there you'll see a little note next to it. And then I have the full URL so that you can, if for some reason the hyperlink isn't working, then you can still view those things. What else did I do? I didn't change the formatting all that much, other than kind of rearranging things and consolidating things. And so hopefully that is useful. I've also been working hard on my sock pattern. It's not quite ready, mostly due to the fact that last weekend was consumed a lot by work, and so I didn't get nearly as much done on the sock pattern as I was hoping, but that will be coming very, very, very soon. I hope to finish it this week. I was hoping to finish it by this weekend, but that didn't happen. So, what are you going to do? All right, but speaking of the sock pattern, this episode is going to be about socks. So later on in the flora and fauna section, I will be talking about socks. All right, on the island, I have a couple things. I have my static Zing socks that I did work on a little bit at choir today. And those are living in my Morning Sunshine bag from Cozy Crafting. There it is. And I love this bag. I've actually left, she wrote this cute little tag that says Morning Sunshine for Lucia. And I've left it on there as a zipper pull. And it actually has not gotten as beat up as I thought it might. So we'll see. Anyway, here are the socks. I am doing them two at a time, and which is making things rather tangly, but it's okay. I've gotten it all figured out, and it's not as bad as it looks. So this is the Static Zing sock pattern by Megan Williams of the Stockinette Zombies, and the brightly colored, multicolored, variegated yarn is Mad Color Fiber Art Doolally base in the Doomsday Machine colorway, which is from the Mad Color Geek Tour. I'm not entirely sure the name. Anyway, they are coming along nicely. If you remember last time, I was just about to finish turning the heel on the second sock. So a couple inches, 2.5 inches maybe. Anyway, so it's coming along. Although on Thursday, as I was knitting on it at choir, I realized that on the edge, I have 2 white stripes in a row. Oh well. Because on the front, I was doing, you know, white colored, and in the back, I'm like, oh yeah, white colored, that makes sense, right? Anyway, so now I have 2 white stripes in a row, and I don't care. So that's the way that is. And hopefully those will be done soon. And the other thing that is kind of on my needles is I'm fixing a sock that I knit a while ago for my former boss, or a pair of socks, not a sock. And this is what they look like. I kind of made up the pattern, and I kind of based it on the, I think it's like the pom-pom peds by Pearl Soho. There's a pom-pom. It's a little smushed now. I cut this one off last night. I'm going to replace them, because when you buy little puffs of pom-poms, you get 1.5 million of them, and I really only needed 2, so I'm going to give her some new pom-poms. But she sent them to me because she said, oh, it's coming unraveled. And I'm like, what do you mean it's coming unraveled? What she really meant was there was a giant hole in the heel of her sock. So I was like, give them back to me and I'll fix them. So I've done a nice woven darn there, and I think it turned out all right. What I did, let's see if I can kind of show this to you, is I reinforced the edges. I started down at the bottom of kind of reinforcing that part right there, and just by following the line of, you know, where a thread would go. And then I went up and down the sides a few times, and then I went across the top, and then I went up and down the sides a few times, and then did the weaving back and forth, and then did it up and down, and then did some back and forth, and then did some up and down, and it created a nice thick woven darn there. So it's a little messy on the inside, but you know what? No one looks in the inside, and it's on the bottom of her foot, so who cares? There was also a hole down here, so I darned that as well, and it's getting a little thin kind of right here. So I'm going to reinforce that. And on the other sock, it hasn't broken through yet, but it's getting very thin. Stick my hand in there, you can kind of see how thin that's getting. Same down at the toe. So I'm going to reinforce this portion right here and tell her that next time it starts getting thin, send them to me so that I can reinforce it rather than trying to patch up a huge hole. Because reinforcing is a lot easier than patching huge holes. So, considering how large the hole was, I did all right. And this is another reason I wanted to show you these socks, this was kind of the first iteration of that deep pocket heel that I was talking about. Because I was at my friend's house, the ones actually we're going to for Easter dinner, and I was trying to remember how to do a heel flap because I knew that that would be taller in the back of the foot than a short row heel, which is kind of what I had started doing. So I ended up combining the two because I couldn't really remember how to do a heel turn. And I was doing these toe up, as always. And so I did my gusset increases, as you can see there. And then I did kind of this like half heel turn. I didn't really know what I was doing, but whatever. And then I did, you know, the heel flap part. And I discovered that I really liked this. And it's my boss, or my former boss, had said that it doesn't slip off her feet, which is good. And so, I mean, the pom-pom also helps keeping it above your shoes. It's like golf socks. And anyway, there's lots of pills on the back here. You can tell these are well loved. And so that was the first iteration of the deep pocket heel. I mean, since then it has seen quite a few iterations, but that was the first one. So those are living in my tiny little Erin Lane sock bag. I got at Stitches. And the yarn is Mountain Maple Sock by Highland Handmaids in the Divi colorway. And that's the original. You can see it's faded over time, but this is a bright, bright sunshiny yellow, which matches the bright, bright sunshiny bag. So that was appropriate. So I worked on that last night while I was watching a movie with my husband. So those are the two things that are on the island. Set sail. I have finished this hat that you never saw before, and it is the Heart Beanie, just called the Heart Beanie, by Susie Stitches. And Susie is like Sioux City, Iowa. It's SIOUXSIE. And hers only had, I did modify it a little bit, and hers had more ribbing that folded over, and then less hearts, and then more plain, and then a big pom-pom. I modified it to have more hearts, and also to switch background colors. So you can I don't know if you can see where I switched. There was I think there was one row that I did differently in order to switch colors, from the purple being the background to the white being the background. And that worked out, because I didn't have as much purple. I probably could have finished it, but I was worried about running out of purple for the top, so I switched colors in the middle, and I did more hearts. So this is going to my aunt, who is undergoing chemo for breast cancer. So I thought, I'll knit her hat. So I had to order the yarn for it because she needed cotton for her head. And I guess we can go into Friend of the Mainland. I got some knit picks. This is their comfy worsted in lilac, which to me this is a lot darker than lilac. Like this is almost lilac, or maybe that's lavender. I don't know. Anyway, lilac to me is lighter, but that's just me. So this is what's left. So I probably could have finished the top of the hat, but it would have been close. And this is Knit Pick Simply Cotton worsted. I think it might be organic. I don't remember. In Marshmallow. So these are the two colors that I ordered, and these are the two colors I used. And so that's done. And the other thing I finished that you guys haven't seen for a very long time is Gelato Giraffe by Kay Jones of Bakery Bear podcast. Yeah, Bakery Bears. And he is out of Lorna's Laces Shepherd's Sport in Mason, which is this main color, and then Silver, which is the other color. His feet are out of it. And yeah, I think he turned out really well. The only thing I had left to knit on him was his tail. So I finished his tail last night and then stuffed him and assembled him. So ta-da! And I didn't use safety eyes. I had some black embroidery thread, and so I just embroidered his eyes, which kind of get a little lost in the dark blue, but it's all right. And then his nose actually turned out quite well the first time around, which was nice. So he is done. He is quite little, round, and plump, which is really cute. He's so cute. Anyway, he's going to go to my cousin's son, who's, I think, like 14 months. And, ta-da! I was trying to get it to him for his first birthday, but that didn't happen, so it's a little late. Whatever. He'll enjoy it. When you're little, you don't really know. You're like, oh, cool, I get stuff. You don't really correlate it to birthdays as much, or Easter or holidays or whatever. You're just like, oh, cool, I get stuff. You know, you get stuff all the time. So this is going to him, and I try to attach things very, very well. So we'll see how well he holds up. But this is Mr. Gelato Giraffe. I know the original is Miss Gelato Giraffe, but he's a boy. Poor boy. I don't know, he might be a girl. But I thought these were very cool colors. And ta-da! That I just happened to have left over in my stash from other things. So I was like, oh, perfect. All right. So that was the other set sale. The other from the mainland was while I was doing a Knit Picks order. I wanted to try out the Lindy chain, which is 70% linen and 30% Pima cotton. And I got the honey colorway, which is a lot more mustardy in person than it looked online. And I got it, I actually got 4 balls for the Arezzo tank by Elizabeth Green Messelman. And I originally thought I was going to use my Rowan, what was it, Rowan something, but it was a worsted weight, and the pattern is for fingering weight. It was actually written for Lindy chain, and the sample was knit in honey. And it looked so much more bright yellow. I thought, oh, I like bright yellow. I look okay in bright yellow. Let's do that. And then I ordered it, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of mustardy. So I think it's okay. A lot of redheads do look good in mustard, but it's more of a fall color, and I'm definitely a summer. Baby colors, as I was talking about last time. Pastels, yes. Easter colors, my thing. Mustard, I can kind of get away with it. So we'll see. We'll see how it works. But, you know, it's not super expensive, so I'm okay with that. So that's what I got in the mail this week. Let's see, what else do we got? Set sail from the mainland. From my holiday, we'll do that. Oh, we'll do that last. Flora and fauna, socks. We want to talk about socks. So someone asked a question about the heel on her socks. She had done a short row heel, and it had a lot of extra fabric on it. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Where's the short row heel? I brought a bunch of different socks so that I can kind of show what's going on. And so these are my Collie Wobbles, ta-da, by Emily at Fibertown, and they're out of Lorna's Laces Soulmate. It's the one with the Outlast in it. And she had had some extra fabric on her heel. Like, obviously this isn't my heel, this is my hand, but it's a lot easier than sticking my foot in the camera. And so she had some extra fabric, and I think what happened is that the way I do heels is that, I think I did it, yeah, these are traditional wrap and turns. And, but with a small little wee gusset. So this is another iteration of the deep pocket heel. Anyway, what happened is that sometimes when I do heels, like you do a certain amount of short rows, and then I usually, the amount of stitches between the short rows, which is kind of here, I usually do the same as whatever I had on the toe. So let's see if I can kind of show that. So they're usually the same for my foot. For some people who have more pointy heels, they're often less. They do more short rows and they have less stitches in between. And what I would suggest is that doing less short rows. So that, because what happens with the short rows is that you kind of knit this and then you knit back. Or if you're doing toe up, which is how I did these, even though the pattern was written for top down, I just reversed it, as I do. So the short rows going that way, you knit this fabric, and then, you know, you knit one row here, and then, I hope this is making sense. If you have any questions, please contact me, and I will try to explain this better. And then you knit this fabric. So by stopping earlier and doing less short rows, you then eliminate this fabric. And so it just wouldn't be there. You just have a shorter heel. So you create basically a less pointy heel. Like for people with pointy heels, you do more short rows because you want more room. People with less pointy heels, you do less. And I think the socks she was doing were in more of like a worsted weight. And that may have been the issue, is that in fingering weight, you know, you do, I think I do, how many short rows did I do here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I often do 7, 8, or 9 amount of short rows, depending on how many gusset stitches I have. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Need to take care of something. So, I can't remember exactly what I was saying. But yes, doing less short rows will create a less room in your heel, basically. So, I hope that kind of answers your question. But I wanted to kind of show some different heels. So this was a heel I did do my, here I'll show it this way, which makes more sense. I did do my gusset increases along that kind of edge there, like a typical heel flap. I know sometimes I do them along the bottom of the foot in like a V. Sometimes I just kind of spread them out over the row. It kind of depends on how late I realize that I need to do the gusset increases. This one, I knit, I think turned the heel and realized that I needed a gusset, or it really was pulling a lot right over the top of my foot. Because this stitch pattern has these really cool stitches, but it means it's not as stretchy this way as plain knitted fabric would be. And so it was just pulling a lot right over the top of the foot. So I ended up ripping back the heel, adding the gusset. So it was a lot easier to do it this way. Excuse me. Here is a traditional heel flap and gusset. These are actually the second socks I ever knit. And these are the Hermione's everyday socks, except I did them toe up. Yes, the second socks I ever did, I switched because I didn't want to knit them top down. And I've been switching socks ever since. So this is, gosh, this is hard to show. There we go. Okay, so that's a typical heel flap and gusset. That's the Eye of Partridge heel flap. And so this is what the heel turn on those yellow socks should have looked like, except I didn't know what I was doing. So I now know how it works, but I don't do heel flaps. So that's what it looks like. So you do those increases along the edge here, and you do a lot more of them. And so that's what it looks like. And so there's the bottom, well, I guess it doesn't really matter, but anyway. So that's what those look like. And this is another heel. I think this is the Fleegle heel. This is the only socks I've ever done these on. I think this is the third pair of socks I knit. I don't really remember. These are the Uzu socks put out by Knitty. And I did them toe up, and they have the star heel, which I really like. It actually fits my toes really well, which is kind of why I like that rounded heel so much. But I really like the star heel. I might start doing it more often. And then this is what the heel looks like. It's very different. So it still has the heel turn, but see how the like your increases are here, but the heel flap is very different there in the way you decrease. It doesn't create that line. See how in this sock where there's that line where you pick, or where you don't pick up stitches when you do it toe up. You do like knit two together and slip slip knit and to decrease those. So you have that harsh line, whereas this one is diagonal. Well, it's not diagonal, but yeah, it is kind of diagonal. I think this is the Fleegle heel. I'm not entirely sure because I knit these a really long time ago. But and this is what the other side looks like. I mean, same thing, but other view. And I really like the way these fit. It's funny because of all the heels I've knit, none of them really don't fit. So there's some that I like more than others, but this one actually fits me quite well. I don't remember how hard or easy it was to knit. The only thing I remember about these socks is the chart is written so that all of the swirlies go one way, and I basically created my own chart so the swirlies would go the other way for the other sock. So the swirlies go different directions on different socks. That one's kind of, I don't know if you can see that, but the swirlies go different directions. That's all I remember. And they're knit out of another Crafty Girl that I bought at the last YarnCon I went to, which was a while ago. So this is the first Another Crafty Girl that I ever bought. And I don't know if she's going to be at YarnCon. I'll have to ask her. And we'll probably get some more. So that is my little talk. Oh, here, I can show you the heel, the kind of the end iteration of the deep pocket heel. This is my sock design out of Leading Men Fiber Arts. And so I have these like V increases on the bottom of the foot for the gusset. And I do that mainly because it hides the gusset. And then, I mean, I don't really care if people see my gusset. No one really knows the difference, but I think it's kind of fun to hide it on the bottom of the foot. And then you have these, it's just a very short gusset. I'm sorry, these are really hard to hold when not on blockers. This would have been the day to bring blockers. Note to self when talking about socks, bring blockers. So I did some German short rows on these for the heel. And then did the gusset there. And so that is those. And I think that's it. That was mostly, I guess, sock heel episode. Maybe I'll retitle it to not the sock episode, but the heel episode. So I hope that answers your questions about heels. If you have any more or about other parts of the sock, please let me know. I love talking about socks, and now that it's spring and summer, probably been knitting more socks. Although last spring, I think I knit 2 sweaters, so I'm just weird. I just kind of knit whatever, whenever. So I like that it's spring and I can now start wearing some of my shawls, because in the winter it's just too cold. I need like massive amounts of warmth around my neck. But now that it's spring, I don't have to have such amount of bulk around my neck to keep me warm. So I've been wearing a lot more of my shawls, which has been fun. Alright, so that was it for Flora and Fauna. From my holiday, I wanted to share about some granola that I made yesterday. So, as I've mentioned before, I can't have gluten or dairy, and so gluten-free granola is kind of expensive, and especially in Chicago. So I've known other people who've made their own granola, and I thought, you know what, it can't be that hard. Actually, I thought it was a lot harder. It was actually super easy. And so I got all the ingredients yesterday when I went food shopping. And then I made some granola. And really, it was very simple. I was cleaning the kitchen yesterday, and I found some oats that I had bought a while ago and then just never used. So you just mix gluten-free. Make sure if you're doing this gluten-free. If you're not, then just get regular oats. And you mix them with honey, and I put some flaxseed oil in there, and sometimes you can put vanilla extract in there. I put some cinnamon in there. I didn't put any vanilla. And you just mix them up until they're, thoroughly coated. You lay them out on a baking sheet, bake it for like half an hour. Check it every once in a while. And what I realized is that, because I kept checking on it and realizing that it wasn't hardening, and I thought, it's not hardening, what's going on? Then I realized that once you pull it out and it cools, that's when it hardens. So don't get dismayed. I think I overcooked it a little bit, but it tastes fine, so that's what matters. So you take them out, let them cool, and then it turned into like one solid sheet of granola, and then you break it up, and it's delicious. And while that was baking, I put a couple cups of walnuts, raw cashews, and some pumpkin seeds. I think I had some sunflower seeds that I threw in there, and just kind of, if you have a food processor, this will work too. But we have a really awesome blender that I used for this. It just kind of chops them up. I didn't run them in there till they like powdered, but lightly chopped them. And when it cooled, then I broke all the granola, put it in a bowl, put all the nuts in, mixed it in, and then I dumped a ton of raisins in there because we had some raisins and I love raisins. So I dumped a ton of raisins in there, mixed that up, and then I put some chocolate chunks in there. Oh yeah. It's like if I'm making my own granola, I can put whatever I want in it. This was really another reason to make your own granola. I think it's cheaper. I haven't actually done the calculation, so I'm going to see really if it is cheaper. But it seemed cheaper to me because I made so much granola. I had to look for all of like these empty containers that I randomly stashed around my kitchen to put this granola in because there was so much of it. So it's going to last me a long time. So that was good. And but one of the granolas I used to buy had chocolate chunks in it, like just tiny little things of chocolate. And it was so good. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to put some chocolate in there. It was delicious. So I had to find some dark chocolate with no milk in it. And it turned out delicious. So I had some for breakfast this morning, and it was very rich. It was interesting that I didn't really need as much as I normally eat. So that was kind of exciting. So yay for homemade granola. I'll let you know how long it takes to go through all this granola. It seems like it's going to last me forever, but we'll see. Anyway, I think that's it for this week, and I hope you all have a nice Easter with your family, either eating chocolate, finding eggs, dyeing eggs, whatever you do with your family, and enjoy it. We have a beautiful sunny day here in Chicago area, so it's very nice. We're going to go enjoy a little bit of time out of doors. And the cat is trying to tell me that he wants to enjoy the sunny weather because he hasn't been out since the big snowstorm, which he thoroughly did not enjoy. So maybe we'll take him out. We'll see. All right. Well, have a great week, everyone, and I will talk to you soon. And if you have any questions about socks, let me know. All right. Bye.